New moon in Gemini and Cancer season energy reading. In those moments, we need, I would assuming videos like this, or just needing voices or things to connect to. Hey, my loves, this is the With Love Cole YouTube channel, and I, Nicole Ballantyne, will be sharing with you tons of information about wellness, motherhood, human design, and so much more, showing you a bit about my family and my lock journey, everything from the guided and lived experience of a 3-5 self-projected projector. Also, check out some goods from my apothecary, Cole Apothecary, where I make sea moss gel and so much more. And stay in touch at With Love Cole. Welcome back to my channel. My name is Nicole. I'm a wellness entrepreneur, human design reader, intuitive, and so much more. And on today's video, we are going to be talking about the new moon in Gemini that happened on June 18th and 19th. And this new moon in Gemini is a super moon. So be expecting major life changes, shifts, perspective changes, perhaps even separation. Gemini is the sign of duality. So with duality, sometimes we do see the breaking apart or the energy of trial and error, the line 3, which is the energy of trying things out, experimenting, seeing if they don't work, and being okay to break the bonds if needed. So here are some themes for the new moon in Gemini. Have aliveness, pathways, empowerment, peace, gratitude, acceptance, and sharing. I do these readings first for my Instagram as a graphic post, and then I take that information that I create for that post and do these videos where I get a little more chatty on here. So I'm going to read my energy reading that I wrote for the new moon in Gemini, and then I'm going to talk a little bit more about how I've been feeling into the energy, as well as self-care, so give you guys some writing prompts and just a ton more interesting things. We also are going to get into some human design gates and transits during this time, specifically gate 11 and gate 56, which are both impacting us energetically. So we will be tapping into that as well. So energy reading. Believe in your ideas. Visualization is the seed to creation. It's in your mind's eye that all fruits are born. Allow your visualizations to be in deep coherence with your heart, and in that perfect manifestation comes to light. Allow your heart to expand into new experiences, identities, and ways of being. For the heart to be well, the body must be well, and this coherence lies in deep care of the physical body and the mind. Trust the medicine nature may bring to you at this time, as it may be the paradigm shift needed to enter a new reality. So I'm actually going to talk about this. It's so interesting because I write these up beforehand, and then when I'm actually sitting down to create these videos, life gives me even more signs and synchronicities and confirmations on the information. So I actually took a small chocolate today. I had gotten it recently from a medicine woman, and I'll probably link her. But yes, it was really potent. It was a strawberry matcha chocolate that had some mushroom medicine inside of it. And the fact that I'm taking it and creating this video and just working through so much, creating content and showing up consistently in this way is new for me. And to see that I'm working with the medicine as I'm literally shifting my identity and shifting how I show up, it shows that sometimes society will have stigmas about the medicine, about plants, about nature, what nature has here on God's earth, right? And tell us that it's not good for us and it's not healthy for us, but it's the very thing that helps us shift our perspective and actually break out of the Maya, of the thinking of everyone else, and starting to think for yourself and becoming a critical thinker. Why is life the way it is? Why are things happening the way that they are? And do I truly identify with what I'm seeing around me? So these are all themes that are coming up for the new moon. It's also very Gemini, because Gemini is about the mind, it's mental, it's about visualization. It's about being in coherence with your mind, and understanding that like the mind and the throat create the expression, right? So first it starts in our mind, and then we have to manifest it through identification. We have to identify whether it's scripting and writing, or identifying by speaking our truth. We have to express it in order for it to come to pass. So now let's talk about some self-care that would be great for Gemini season and the new moon in Gemini, as it's a supermoon, and supermoon is a great time to, and a new moon is a great time to set intentions, be in deep prayer, be in introspection. Sometimes around the new moon, we want to spend time with ourselves. And from what I'm seeing in society, we are becoming very introverted humans. Like, the moment people go outside, I feel like they respond with fear that they actually can't even enjoy themselves outside. I'm in LA, and like, as a person of color who's just had like an interesting few years, living in America post George Floyd in 2020, I do feel like we go outside and kind of like have to expect the worst, and like that doesn't allow us to like operate in our full truth and like full expression when we have to move in fear instead of love. So I feel like now is a really good time to pull back and be in a space of introversion, so that we can really get our physical and individual selves ready to be in community and be around people. Because like, it's great to be in community, but sometimes we're just not always prepared to, and in those moments we need, like, I would assuming videos like this, or just needing voices or things to connect to that is a little more intimate, that can help develop ourselves. So now let's jump into some self-care for the new moon. Create a morning meditation, going back to introversion, since we are being more introverted, and really taking time to like think of our intentions for the next 5-10 years. Are we taking time with ourselves to like connect with the earth again? I'm actually going to talk a little bit about the Schumann resonance, because we are seeing planetary changes with that. And during this time, as we're seeing changes in the Schumann resonance, Earth's heartbeat, and it was named after the scientists who came across this discovery. The Schumann resonance is Earth's heartbeat, and it's at 7.8 hertz. And when we are most connected to Schumann resonance is when we are connected to abundance, prosperity, our highest selves, and like where the earth is going, where Gaia wants to go. Because right now we are our own bodies, but we're also part of this planetary body. We are seeing people come to new levels of consciousness at really rapid rates, and on the other side of that, there is a extreme way of being. There's a polarity. There's people who do not want this. There are people who are fighting that change of consciousness, right? So within that, we have to get back to ourselves in order to connect with that true Schumann resonance, connect with the earth, connect with our inner light, so that we can now go out into the world and be what we hope to see. Because on a planetary level, it's like a spiritual battle. So if we aren't doing that work, we're going out and we're dealing with energies that just like do not want peace, do not want harmony. But having this understanding and this acceptance of that, we then can move forward and prioritize our own peace, because we know we're not getting it externally, but then also now be the light and then magnetize that light. And I'm going to talk more about that for the full moon in Capricorn coming up, about gate 15, the gate of magnetism, as it's transiting right now, actually, as I'm making the video. But yeah, very beautiful energy, because it's an energy full of opportunity and potentiality, but it's really on how we choose to master it, honor it, and use it. That was pretty long. I have like 4 more self-care prompts. The next one is book an international trip. Gemini is very much about short trips. But because we are in the energy of feeling like duality and polarity and also introversion, but play, I do think an international trip or planning ahead, Gemini is all about mental and planning, right? So we want to plan ahead of taking that time of rest and relaxation for ourselves and allowing ourselves to just surrender to life, to who we are and who our soul wants us to like grow into. Along with that, so the next prompt is visualize yourself, your life in 5 years. Visualization is a really strong manifestation tool, very much about the law of attraction and creating the life you want. So if you can visualize it, you can obtain it because now you already painted the picture. So it's kind of like the journey of your life is finding the puzzle pieces and putting that picture together, but the picture's already there. So think about it like that. The puzzle's already there, right? Like your life is pretty much like scattered puzzle pieces. And as we journey through our lives, we're picking up those puzzle pieces and moving through it. Next thing is pick a day of silence. I hear a lot about the 7-day silence retreats, which is like taking a week of silence, noble silence, which is truly honoring your soul's voice because you are not speaking. You're honoring your own voice, in fact, by giving it a moment to rest. But truly taking a Vipassana, I think it's called Vipassana, which is the time of silence, of pure silence meditation for yourself might be really helpful. I have been unplugging more and more from my phone, especially to create content. But also I had to see as a self-projected projector, I was too plugged into my world. And if I want to create something that is unique and like truly different, and I want to bring something in that I'm seeing, but maybe other people aren't seeing, my visualizations, then I have to be like in my own world, right? Or in my own space. And the last one is listen to 528 hertz. And I love listening to this frequency because this is called the love frequency. It's the frequency of roses. Roses is a great, like rose petals are great to add into any herbal baths or teas that you may be making at this time, or even yoni steams. I highly recommend adding rose petals because it has the highest frequency of any herb, and it's also the love frequency, and I feel like the planet needs a lot more of that. So I've been working with rose petals and hibiscus and herbs that are like very just high vibrational, but also very feminine in energy because the earth needs more yin, it needs more balance to the action and yang dominating energy on the planet. And I think that's also why we see the oceans kind of like responding in this way. I know a lot of people have seen about the submersible that recently happened with 5 really wealthy men, some being billionaires, some being millionaires, still extremely wealthy, choosing to go see the Titanic and instead ended up in an implosion. And I feel like that implosion is kind of symbolic of our inner world and our inner being needing to implode from the pressure that we're feeling from society. It's like really crazy. A lot of people are seeing like the deep spiritual connection to this happening and the Titanic being over 100 years ago and wealthy people passing away because of their exorbitant wealth, and ignoring the signals and the signs of danger, or of, you know, pushing past nature and trying to, trying to flex their power over Mother Gaia. And she's always like, no, Mother Nature always wins. That is the duality. She is the mystery. She is the unknown to the known. So we do have to honor her, and we have to be in reverence of her. So now I am going to talk about some writing prompts for the new moon in Gemini. What brings me into a state of wonder? And wonder is like awe, true awe, like, which is like deep love. Like when you are in deep love, you're in awe of the person, you're in wonder of them. So what experiences, people, smells, tastes, maybe sensations bring you into that, and how do you create more of that frequency in your vortex, in your world, so that you can, you know, embody the light, be the light, but also be a happy and healthy human being. Am I living my life fully for myself? That is really deep, because a lot of us have to appear or have a mask on for when we go to work, when we are in family environments or settings, and or showing up for our responsibilities, and we don't actually get time to really just relax and, like, you know, regroup with ourselves. Like, Nicole, who are you today? Like, I am sure that if we had more time to do that, we would change, have quicker change as a society. And I think people are at this point creating it for themselves. And the intent of this video, of course, is to have you guys think about that. Like, what would you like to see in the fully embodied highest version of yourself? Next is, how can I release past stories and create new ones? And this goes back to the idea of change, choosing to change, and choice, and saying that I know what this is, or I know what I've experienced, but is this experience because of the perspective that I'm choosing to hold, or this experience truly like what I'm seeing? And a lot of times we self-sabotage because we create experiences that are based on our previous trauma, but it's not actually what's happening in our environment. So think about that this month. What experiences are ideas that you have that seem like it's connected to a story that you've been telling yourself? And how do you move out of that story and come into a new one? Last writing prompt is, who stimulates my mind and my heart? Life is about being around people you love. Life is about being happy and having positive experiences. And I do feel like environment is a huge aspect of that. I mean, I know that, like, human design environment tells you your longevity and your livelihood is based upon your environment, because everyone's vehicle or body can handle different environments, and if we are predispositioned to be healthier, be more optimal in specific environments. And think about what environments stimulate you, your heart, like bring you vitality. Stimulating your heart is a physical thing and a spiritual thing, but on a physical level, if someone's stimulating your heart, your blood is pumping faster. You're more alive, literally. So what brings you life? And we want to keep that energy because we want to be here, right? And if you are not alive, you are not here. You're here, but you're not here. You're flatlined, right? So we want to feel aliveness. So I'm going to leave you guys with this quote that I've seen actually a few times. I saw on an astrologer's channel. I might link her video. I think it was in the new moon in Gemini, or one of her videos, but I'm definitely going to link her. She put this quote, and I loved it so much because I think it actually relates to the human design gate of Gate 56, the Wanderer. And it's interesting that she said this during this time. We know it's also transiting, the gate is transiting during this time as well. So it says, life is like riding a bicycle. To keep your balance, you must keep moving. And this was Albert Einstein's life advice in a letter to his son, Edward, on February 5th, 1930. So the things that you say, and this is the beautiful thing about visualization. Like Albert Einstein said this wisdom, and because he saw that this is what was his truth, and he was able to share it with his son. And now, because of him seeing his visualization, his truth, we can express it. But anyway, what I love about this is very much about what the Wanderer is about, Gate 56. It's about stimulation, and that in actuality, to stay in balance, to stay in flow, you have to kind of keep moving, because life is changing. Life is its own organism. So you have to be flexible. You have to be able to keep pace with what is happening in life. So I know I already started talking about Gate 56, but now I'm going to fully talk about the human design, Gate 56, the Gate of the Wanderer. So this is what I wrote for the Instagram post. It says, life is about the stories. Gate 56 is the gate of the wanderer and the theme of storytelling. When the experience has passed, what is the lesson, thought, idea that lingers? Here lies the knowledge and beauty. Here lies the knowledge for beautiful self-development and transformation. The wanderer is wandering to find direction. Similar to Abraham Hicks' teaching, wonder. I'm reading so fast. I want to spend time with my baby. Similar to Abraham Hicks' teachings, the wonder leads us to our vortex or grid that is perfect alignment and vibration with our path. A great read this month is A Path Made Clear by Oprah Winfrey. So Oprah has Gate 56 and she has an open throat, and she is known to be a prolific storyteller. She knows how to ask the right questions in interviews. Oprah is just a voice for many, many people because she uses that open throat to express the stories of many and to bring light to the stories of many. So Gate 56 is about this stimulation. It's about the stories of your past. I had a travel blog called Latitude and Avenue, and my travel blog, I used it as a way to express my personal stories of my travels and share the stories of the people who I would meet along my travels. And traveling is so humbling, and it keeps you in balance because you always have to be flexible and move with the tides. You tend to pack light. You also are open to asking questions. You're curious, you're playful because you're in a new environment. So I highly recommend traveling and booking that international trip, like I mentioned in the self-care prompt. But yeah, like travel had changed my life, and now I'm seeing the beauty of part of that gate, right? The gate 56 is understanding that part of finding that balance, as Albert Einstein said too, is knowing that, part of my story is now that I'm not traveling as much, I'm living another story. And that is part of the movement of life. Like in 5 years, your life can change so rapidly that now all your travels is like your past story. And it doesn't leave you, and that's the beautiful thing about the Wanderer. These stories stay with you. When you document them, they definitely get to stay with you, but even when you don't document them, you have the memories, the feelings, the sensations, and your world around you. You'll get even more reminders of little things of your past. So know that it's when you understand Gate 5, the gate of timelessness, and when you understand the energy of rhythms, you also will get a deeper sense of what it is to wander and hold those stories, but also be able to, be flexible and be in the flow of life. So now let's talk about, for Gate 56, some shadow or repressive and reactive sides of the shadow nature. So the shadow nature is the opposite. So if you have wandering and stimulation as the life theme of this gate, the shadow side of this is being stuck and not feeling like you can go anywhere and not seeing the freedom. But the stuckness doesn't have to be a physical, like I can't go anywhere. This is all about perspective. And when we move into the higher nature of this gate, we'll realize that There is no those stuckness. The higher nature of all the gates, the cities really represent an energy of like bounteousness, of fullness, of superabundance, of limitlessness. So another nature of this gate that is more regressive is if you are inattentive. If you are someone who is reactive, you are inattentive. If you are reactive, you are someone who is overstimulated. So you have the shadow or oppressive natures of this gate is someone who's stuck, someone who is reactive, inattentive. So all these experiences and stories and beautiful things are happening, but they can't even see it because they're in their own ways, or they are so overstimulated themselves that they are missing out on like what is around them and all the wisdom around them. And I've seen this, and it's actually really, and I've been this, right? We've seen it and we've been it pretty much for every gate. But when I have been around someone who is so overstimulated, they can't really see the wisdom right in front of them. It frustrates me, especially as someone who, according to my human design, I'm a right angle cross of the Sphinx. So I'm supposed to be a lighthouse and a guide for people. So people will come to me in this state and then kind of expect, it's almost like they know they want me to give advice or help, but at the same time, they are so overstimulated, they can't actually absorb it. So it leaves me feeling frustrated. And then I feel the shadow side of this gate, which is stuck. Because then it's like it was stuck emotions, like I didn't get to fully express, or I didn't feel heard. You know what I mean? Oh yes, I did. So I want to go back actually to that Albert Einstein quote, which again, I'm going to read. Life is like riding a bicycle. To keep your balance, you must keep moving. So I wrote the quote is very similar to life because it's about the linking of experience similarly to the linking of the movements around the wheel of the bike. I was getting all deep. When I be writing my notes and I be having my moment, I be getting deep. Because I really want to make these videos like so evergreen and timeless. I want like 1,000 years from now, someone could just watch this and like get this message or get this like wisdom of what nature is showing us, or understand I Ching, the divination tool. Okay. Again, so I mentioned that gate 56 is a gate of the throat. And when we share these stories with interest and it has depth and relation to the other, which means attentiveness, which means can't be overstimulated because you have to really focus in and like get in there with somebody. This is when it can be very deep and very fulfilling. There's a wealth of knowledge in gate 56. If you have this in your chart, you may be full of stories of other people's life experiences, or you may be one who loves to share your personal tales and stories, or have lived through a lot of stories like life is like a movie, or you may be someone who's very well traveled or didn't get to travel at all. And that's kind of like the interesting thing, is because these life themes are so complex that it kind of, every life theme encapsulates everything, it feels like. Also, if you have this gate, another positive is that you can be a wonderful listener and very attentive to the needs and thoughts of others, and really be able to see who they are fully. Like, you can look at someone and not just see them in that moment, but see the stories through them. Like, you could be able to tell maybe that person's been a teacher, or maybe that person's a mother, and how she may mother just through meeting her off of a moment, you know what I mean? So this gate is really potent. I'm gonna leave it here because this video is our oh yeah, my face is decorated because I was supposed to do Hollywood Carnival and we missed the carnival. I was just gonna like be palancing on the side of the road, but but I'm going to leave this here because I want to talk about gate 11, the gate of ideas, but I will post a separate video of this gate. You can watch it in conjunction with this because this gate is transiting during Gemini season. If I'm correct, it might also be a Gemini gate. I don't want to speak too soon on that though. Because again, I have a deep understanding of astrology, and as I'm deepening my understanding of human design, I do want to make sure my zodiac gates line up with the times and periods when I'm speaking about them. But if one or two are off, please bear with me. This is why these videos are really for you to deepen your study, or also learn a little more about yourself through my journey and my self-development, but also never take information that someone says as complete truth. Always double check your sources. Always, you can hear something, but look it up yourself. Like, the internet is free, Google is real. Let's use it. But yeah, and if you made it this far, definitely subscribe to stay in touch.